Pochin, Reform UK, 12,645. Karen Louise Shaw, Labour Party, 12,639. And I do hereby declare that Sarah Joanne Pochin is duly elected as a Member of Parliament for the Runcorn and Helsby constituency.
Hello, I'm John and welcome to John's Box, my YouTube channel, and to Politics John, and to the 2025 local election edition. Just a bit about myself. I've been interested in party politics since the age of 14, when Margaret Thatcher became the UK's first woman Prime Minister. I am a former political activist and have always been fascinated by political results, stats and facts. I'm currently living abroad so I can watch the goings on of UK politics at a safe distance. A few weeks ago, my last video looked at Nigel Farage's chances of becoming the next Prime Minister, and I suggested for various reasons that he wouldn't. You may want to revisit that video, and based on what happened in yesterday's local elections, perhaps I should be eating my hat at that suggestion. Remember who said that? I'll eat my hat. In this edition, I'll be summarising Thursday's local elections, after which I'll be making a forecast based on various opinion polling, having averaged them out. Now, at this stage, I made a prediction last July. I'll come back to that in a moment. So in this edition, I will be summarising Thursday's local elections, after which I'll be making a forecast based on various opinion polling, having averaged them out. Now, for a brief summary of those elections, there were 6 mayoral elections held in England. The Conservatives won 1, that was in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. Labour won 3, that was Doncaster, North Tyneside and the west of England, though narrowly winning these, with Reform coming in a close second. Reform won 2, that was Great Lincolnshire and Hull and East Yorkshire. There was also a by-election in Runcorn and Helsby, which Reform won by 6 votes. There were council and county council elections too. Reform elected 677 councillors from 0. Liberal Democrats elected 370 councillors, that's 163, up on the last election held back in 2021. The Conservatives 317, that's a loss of 676 councillors, and that's 2/3 of the total councillors lost. Labour won just 99, losing 186 councillors. That's also more or less 2/3 of their councillors. The Independents, not a united party by the way, 89 councillors with 20 lost, and the Greens 80 councillors with 45 councillors gained. So now to the number of councils controlled. The Reform UK councils have a total of 10. The Liberal Democrats control 3. The Conservatives 0 because they lost all 16 of theirs, and Labour 0, they lost the one in Doncaster. 10 councils remain in no overall control. So let's now have a look at my forecast. As I mentioned, the last time I did this was in July 2024, just after the general election. Let's now reveal the numbers based on various averages of opinion polls and sort of my gut feeling. So today, I hope you can see that okay. Today Labour would lose 100 seats and end up on 220. The Conservatives would be down by 62 on 108. Reform UK would be on 188 seats, up by 146. The Lib Dems on 72, up by 17. SNP on 21, up by 6. Plaid on 5, down by 3. And the others on 26. This includes possibly 10 independents, the pro-Gaza Corbynistas. Other forecasts suggest that my ones are rather conservatives, of course, conservative with a small c. So, just leaving this here, let's see if it can stay put here. There we go. What would my results mean? Well, Labour, being the largest party on my count, would be 106 seats short of forming the next government. Assumably, they would need to add the Lib Dems, Greens and possibly Scott Nats, Plaid seats and the Pro Gaza lot to that number. That would give Labour a wide coalition of 328 seats, enough to form a government, a coalition, a wide coalition. Naturally, I'm going to put Conservatives and Reform UK numbers together, which would give 296 seats. So it's definitely hung Parliament territory. I'm not sure whether Labour would be able to form such a wide coalition, what with the Scots demanding an Indie ref and the Gaza lot shouting for their demands. A wide coalition like this is unlikely to survive, perhaps a vote by vote agreement depending on the issue, but I don't think that would last a long time. We'd have to have another general election within a few months, no more than a year. Reform and the Conservatives won't do a deal, so we would see Reform as the official opposition. The only exception here is if Reform are the largest party, then possibly, unless they get enough votes to form an overall majority. To summarise then, the 2025 UK local elections have significantly reshaped the political landscape, with Reform UK emerging as a formidable force. While translating these results directly to the 2029 general election is speculative, several key trends suggest potential shifts in party dynamics. Reform UK have achieved a historic surge, winning over 600 council seats, taking control of multiple councils and securing its 5th parliamentary seat in Runcorn and Helsby by a narrow margin and electing its first woman MP thereby. National projections indicate Reform UK's vote share at approximately 30%, surpassing Labour's 20% and the Conservatives' 15%. Labour retained control of several mayoralties but faced setbacks in traditional strongholds like Durham and Lancashire. Despite winning 3 mayoralties, internal criticisms and policy challenges such as cuts to winter fuel payments and disability benefits have emerged. Oops. There you go. The Conservatives experienced a historic collapse coming forth in national vote projections. Leader KME Badenoch acknowledged public distrust and apologised to losing councillors, vowing to rebuild. She is toast, I feel. Liberal Democrats made significant gains, winning control of councils in Shropshire, Oxfordshire and Cambridgeshire, positioning themselves as a centrist alternative. Well, they are way left of Labour, believe you me, and I think they are definitely a party of the wokey middle classes. So the speculative outlook for the 2029 general election is, while it's challenging to predict the exact outcome, several factors could influence the political landscape. Don't forget, all of this is speculative. Reform UK's momentum, that's building on its local election successes, and it aims to secure £40 million in funding ahead of the 2029 general election. Analysts suggest a viable path to power for Farage. Those challenges remain, including managing newly acquired political responsibilities. Labour's position: despite setbacks, Labour's national vote share in local elections was 19%, and it remains a dominant force on the left. However, balancing conflicting demographic demands and internal criticisms could impact its performance in future elections. What about the Conservative recovery, you may ask? The Conservative Party's historic losses in the 2025 local elections present a significant challenge. Rebuilding trust and addressing internal divisions will be crucial for any potential recovery by 2029. Perhaps they should reposition themselves and go after Lib Dem voters or Conservatives who voted Lib Dems. This way they can survive. They will discredit themselves by trying to out-reform reform. And things beyond party politics, beyond the political parties rather, issues, electoral system dynamics. The first past the post system has historically benefited larger parties. However, with the rise of smaller parties like Reform UK, the dynamics could shift, leading to a more fragmented parliament and potential coalition governments, as I've already mentioned. However, what if PR had been applied in the Runcorn by-election? The Labour candidate would probably have been elected. In conclusion then, the 2025 local elections have introduced significant challenges to the UK's political landscape, with Reform UK emerging as a strong contender. The 2029 general election will likely be influenced by ongoing party developments, voter sentiments and potential shifts in the electoral system. While it's premature to predict the exact outcome, the evolving dynamics suggest a more competitive and fragmented political environment in the coming years. So, what do you think? Do you think all that I've said here is more or less a well-balanced look at what happened yesterday and what's been happening in the last couple of months? Or do you think things could change? 7 days is a long time in politics, or is it a week is a long time in politics? A lot can happen, and the next time I do this will be following next year's local election results and the devolved parliamentary elections in Scotland and Wales too. A lot could happen there. Nobody knows for sure, but it's a lot more fascinating now, looking at UK politics and what's going on. We are at major crossroads, and perhaps, as Nigel Farage has suggested, the two-party politics system has finished. So that's it for John's Politics, and I'd like your comments. Here we go, that's what it should have been about. Post-local elections, 2029 general election predictions. That's what today's edition of John's Politics has been about. So as I mentioned, I'll be back in May 2026, or earlier perhaps at the end of the year, to just give a brief summary as to what's been happening, as and when, more or less ad hoc, I will appear. Just forgot to mention that currently I have 892 subscribers, and I'd love to get to 1,000 as soon as possible, but only with your help. There's a lot of other content on my channel about towns and cities. It's all about social stuff, which watching these kinds of videos you might be interested in, the demographic situation in the United Kingdom and other topics that I cover. So thanks again as well for that. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave your comments, like or dislike this video, and thank you for sticking to the end. You've been very patient indeed. Bye for now.